Hello, hi, welcome to This Is Your Spotlight. This is season 5, 5. My name is Eurydice Roman. I am your lovely, tenacious, determined host. Today, I am here with somebody that I know from my college days. He used to be called DJ Scoop way back when I first met him. We were part of WCCR City College Radio, and we used to have those great events at the Rotunda. So shout out to CCNY, go Beavers. And yeah, I'd like to thank you for some of the music that you put me onto. And I'm just like, wow, I didn't know about so and so or that one. Dang, I haven't heard that one in age. Damn, I feel old. So here is well, not DJ Scoop, but his formal name, his official name is Renoir Lewis. So today
Thank you,
he's going
thank
to
you,
thank you. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. So
thank you
today
for
we're going to
having
talk.
me. I appreciate the invite. Um, we go way back when we still had knees that functioned, backs that didn't crack. That's how far back we go.
Hey, hey. I tend to put at least some cream on the knees if they start cracking though. And the back, I'm working on it. I don't drop it like I used to.
And listen, we had Trina knees, okay, and there were no kneecaps left for Meg. All right.
No, no, there really wasn't. Especially for those parties. Oh no. Those parties were
I'm not
like,
talking about those,
yeah,
but the
those parties.
Rotunda
Oh my
is an
goodness.
interesting time.
Yeah.
Interesting time to be alive.
No, yeah,
Those
yeah.
two hours felt like a full day.
Especially when people were dancing at student life used to be like, okay, time out. This is too much.
Right.
Yeah, having too much
Broad
fun.
daylight. We gonna need you to get off the table. Please get off the table. Please
Exactly.
get off the table.
It's like,
It
no,
it
don't
is
don't
twelve oh
don't pin that
seven
person to the wall
p.m.
now.
Right. It is 12:07 p.m. Why are y'all like this? I don't know. I don't know. But at 12:09, it might get even crazier. Okay.
Yeah. And I always like looked at them like, why noon? Why is that like the time? Everything, starts to get okay at 2. But then of course we were a commuter school. So some people would be like, I gotta be out by 2:30. I gotta go take the train.
Oh, not so. The actual reason we had noon was because the school
Mhm.
had uh free hours between noon and 2 p.m.
Exactly.
on Thursdays.
Exactly.
So I had gone to the school and asked if I could fill that time with music. Of course, they came back with what about equipment and power and yada, yada, yada. And I had already planned all of that out. So I was like, I have my own equipment, have all of this, blah, blah, blah,
Mhm.
blah. And that's how we wound up with Thursdays from 12 to 2 because that was the free period on the campus everywhere. No one had class from 12 to 2.
Exactly. Even if people were sitting in the lunchroom, the music would be so loud that people were like, what's
Yeah.
going on? Yo,
And
let's
then
step outside.
insert Johan, aka Yank Trini, insert Peter.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Then you had
Mr. Mercedes Phipps himself.
yeah, and then you had who else? No, but then if you
I
wanted
mean,
like different music, you had Darius with his music. Then you had
right? You had Jin,
yep. That,
um,
that was the stuff.
DJ Sassy. So we had a well cultured group, very well cultured group.
It's like yeah, I had music
Uh,
for everybody.
right. You can come get some salsa, some merengue, some reggae, some soca, some compa for the Haitians, some
All that.
R&B, some hip hop, some Jersey club, whatever you need, we got it. Don't worry about it. We got it. We
Exactly,
got it.
exactly.
We service the five boroughs and the surrounding area. Okay.
Exactly. And then what I found interesting about being in a commuter school as we were is the everybody had like their own little thing, but music was the uniting factor,
Pretty
right?
much.
It was just like,
That's what brought us all together.
yeah, I remember
That's
those
what brought us
times at
all
the
together.
station. It was really funny because of sometimes I had to kick y'all out sometimes. Like, it's like go to class. And then y'all used to tell me, no, you go to class. I said, I just did. I just came back from my class. What you talking about? I had to look like a mother hen at some point.
You right.
I
Look,
was just like,
somebody had to do it.
no, I'm telling you, telling you. So switching gears, the Create Festival. I actually got to go to the Create Festival at least once. It was a fun experience. I liked the giant game of pool, but like people playing pool. And then you had everybody who was into like video games. They had like their own little corner section. Then you had people playing music as everything was going on. And there were some other sports that probably were included that I'm completely like erasing.
Uh, we had the snook ball table at as it was called.
Hmm.
We had the big arcade with the 14 TVs.
Hmm.
What else? What else? We had the live photo shoot that was happening. We had the wait, you came to the one in the
Uh-huh.
big parking garage or the two-story building?
Yes. Yes. The
So in the parking garage, we had the arcade, pool table, the coloring table, that live photo shoot. We
Mhm.
had the live performances. Oh, um, the adult size, the art pong. That's what it was. It was the art pong where we were playing like a life size beer pong game, but making an abstract art painting while we went. That was the one that kind of threw everyone off. No one was prepared for that.
They sure weren't. I guarantee some people were like, I'm doing what now?
Yeah.
Some people were like
But yeah,
dancing in
I
front of the
mean,
DJ. Some people were just like, nah, I'll play video games. You want me to do what? Nah, nah, nah. Pause.
yeah, I mean, it. So to rewind, I started Create Festival because I found nightclubs to be boring, right? And that sounds crazy coming from a full-time DJ at the time who DJed in nightclubs. But they kind of just bored me, right? You go there, you drink, and if you don't drink, you stand around and nobody's doing anything anymore, right? Like the dance era had started to end, and people
Mhm.
weren't going to nightclubs to actually dance. They were just going there because it wasn't their living room. And for someone who doesn't drink like myself, I just found it really, really boring.
That sucks.
So I didn't want to create something that ostracized people who drank, right? Like that's not fun. But I wanted other activities. Um, Dave and Buster's existed, but you couldn't have a Dave and Buster's with all your friends. That just didn't exist, right? Um, so I made what was in my head. I made what was exciting to me, and that is how it came about. The word create, or the name of the festival rather, simply was just because every event was about creating something. If not a memory, a piece of art. If not a piece of art, um, a new game. If not a new game, custom shirts. Like whatever it was, we were always making something. And one of my friends was like, "Hey, listen, I have access to a living room, like a furniture company that has a large showcase living room." And I said, "Okay." They agreed to give us the venue for free,
Hmm.
and we produced the first one, and that's how it came about. And we launched our R&B game that night, which everyone loved.
Hmm.
Essentially, we broke the room up into four groups. Everyone got a list of words,
Ah.
and they got 30 minutes to make their own song. So a hook and a chorus, and if your group was nice enough, you could make two hooks, right?
Hmm.
I mean, not a hook, a verse, two verses, if you
Right.
were nice enough. But the goal was to make one verse, one chorus, and then sing it back in front of everyone.
Wow.
Needless to say, that was a hit. There's video of it on YouTube. People People love it. They still go rewatch it all the time. We haven't done it again yet. We just haven't done it. There were so many other events that we've done,
Correct.
but that was the first one. It felt like a really big living room with all of our favorite people in it, and everyone was relaxed. We had wine, we had other drinks, we had non-alcoholic, we had all of that, and it just seemed like the perfect mix of everything.
Hmm.
Fast forward, once people saw that,
Mhm.
they immediately were like, listen, this was amazing. When are you doing the next one? So we set out to find sponsors and a whole bunch of other things to alleviate our financial issue. And needless to say, we found none of them.
Oh.
So because it looked like we were going to have to come out of pocket anyway, we were trying to figure out how to make it make sense. And I was proposing to my now wife at the time, and I was trying to think of proposals. And one of my cousins was like, why don't you just host the event again and disguise your proposal in the event? Your wife won't be able to figure it out. She'll never be able to catch on. She's a CIA level spy. She'll always find something. She's just nosy and inquisitive, right? Um, so I keep saying and I hate that.
It's okay.
So we began planning. We searched for venues, and eventually we just landed on a parking garage that had been repurposed as an event space. The fellas that owned it gave it to us at a huge discount. Once I told them what we were looking to do, the purpose behind it, the proposal, everything, they just were like, you know what? Listen, this sounds amazing. We need the marketing. We'll meet you halfway on this. Blah, 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 blah. And the rest was history. We locked that in, and then we began planning once we knew what space we had and everything came together. My wife was so excited to help and plan activities, and oh, we should do this activity, and we should have gift bags, and we should make a sangria so that everybody who walks in who wants to drink has their first drink in their hand right when they walk in the door. I was like, yeah, great. Great, this is amazing. She didn't know she was planning her own proposal. And I love that. And I love that. She jumped right in. Her friends knew,
Mhm.
sister knew, brothers knew, everyone knew. She just
That's
didn't know.
amazing. I love it.
She
I
got
love the
dressed,
sneaky. I love the sneaky yet surprising. So
dressed up,
good job.
and I'm a sneakerhead. She's not. But she was like, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wear some sneakers because it represents you. I was like, oh, this just gets better. It just gets better. You really don't know what's about to happen. I love that for me. I love that for me. Needless to say, I think we came out the gate with about 230 or 240 people that night,
Mhm.
and it was an amazing night. You were there. You were there. It
Well,
was a great night. We had a large arcade with 14 different game systems.
yes.
We had the life-size pool table, as you call it, where we play pool with a soccer ball. We had art pong, so life-size beer pong, but you make an abstract painting along the way. Then we had live performances. We had a DJ. And at the end of the live performances,
Mm.
one of the artists, Coco Sarai, had written a song specifically for me to propose to my now wife.
Oh,
And she started singing it and pulled my wife out into the middle of the crowd. My wife was looking around like, what is happening? What is going on? Why am I at the center of things? I start talking and then I get on one knee and she's like, what? And that's the end of a beautiful night. And that was the official launch
mhm.
of Create Festival.
Yeah. So wow.
um,
And it's still going strong. I believe you had something last year.
yes. So still going strong. Pandemic did, knock us back a few steps, but we've I don't want to say we fully recovered because that wouldn't be accurate. We just decided to relaunch a little differently.
Yes.
So last year, we sort of went back to the roots of where we started in the living room situation,
Mm,
playing games.
right.
And we had a much smaller event, way more private.
Mm,
We still had a DJ,
mm.
but we removed a bunch of the other activities that we had built into the event over the years.
Oh.
So instead of having 5 or 6 different activities,
Mhm.
we only had 2.
Oh. So you
We
had to
still had a
downsize.
table. Yeah,
You had
we
to downsize.
downsized. We downsized,
Mm,
which wasn't the worst thing because even for us, after after the zombie apocalypse started, everyone who had been involved with me up to that point had put it down. We just stopped. Like we personally, all of us were doing different things in life. We were all in different places. Uh, one of the crew passed away,
no.
so a lot of things had changed.
Oh.
Yeah, we lost Danny.
Oh.
Danny came to me via AJ through the Art Hub,
Oh.
and he was an amazing soul.
Oh.
But he did get COVID, and about a month into him having COVID, uh, his battle with COVID failed.
Wow.
It turned into pneumonia. That pneumonia, hold on one second.
Hmm.
That beep is gonna throw you off.
No, you're fine.
One second.
Okay, hold on one second. Okay, go ahead. So we
All
lost
right, so
Danny.
yeah, so um, Danny came to us through the Art Hub through AJ. AJ was one of the
Mm,
partners for Art Hub, and Danny, passed away, lost his battle with COVID, ultimately
damn.
through pneumonia, and you know that also threw a lot of people off because he was like the king of sponsorships, king of grants. So it was like a huge void that he brought in that we suddenly were now missing. Um, so to pick it back up was to downscale wasn't bad because
Right.
it it forced us to get back into a rhythm and
Correct.
have an actual like flow happen again. We had to get back to the
Right.
discipline of
Yes.
doing things, organizing, what marketing material do we need?
Hmm.
What are we gonna do for promotion? We gotta get the website back. We gotta sell tickets. So we had to do all of that and get back on the bicycle and figure out how to ride again. And it worked out better in that instance for us downsizing. Had we tried to take too big of a swing, I feel like we just would have failed.
Right.
And at that point, it wouldn't have helped us.
Hmm.
Um, wouldn't have helped the brand either.
Right.
Moving moving forward,
Mm,
I do want to go back to doing it annually again.
correct.
The, where I'm at and where some of the rest of us were at after this past one,
Hmm.
we realized that we needed more resources. We
Right.
realized that we just didn't have all the pieces together, and we
Right.
didn't want to produce something for 2025
Mm,
that wouldn't be up to par, if you will, with past events. So
ah,
for this year, we may not actually wind up doing it.
oh,
We we meet every other week,
correct.
and we're planning for 2026
Okay.
because we kind of want to just relaunch and
Hmm.
stay in the sky. We don't want to have to keep landing the plane to reorganize and then launching again.
Right. Right. Right.
Sorry.
Yes. So,
Um,
considering everything that's happening right now with the world, um, I think it's the right time for you guys to do this, to take the pause and, see what can be done, kind of like a repivot. because everything that's going on is like, okay, like some grants are being cut off, and it's just like, woof, certain public
Yeah,
services, the tariffs, the whole, yeah. So I think this year, this whole year is going to be an adjustment period for everybody.
true.
No matter if you have an independent business, if you're in media and stuff like that. Because right now, the way stuff is going, it's good to like, I was thinking of myself to do an event for like autism awareness. I usually have done it, but this year, because of things have happened, the elimination of DEI and most things, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna catch y'all next year. Hopefully, yeah, this is your first year. You guys get whatever you need to get correct. And there's too much I don't know, there's too much shifts in a lot of, things that were for the public and were to help, people like buy a home or like start a small business or whatever have you. So this year is like the year, like, you know what? I'm gonna take some notes and I'm gonna see what I could come up with. Because
Totally,
this year
totally.
it ain't. Mm-mm.
Um,
Yeah.
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah. For
I
DEI,
don't.
just in case for everybody who doesn't know, it's a diversity, equality, and inclusion. So,
Yeah, I don't think DEI initiatives,
mm-hmm,
diversity, equity, inclusion.
mm-hmm,
I'm not sure that any of these companies or the initiatives that they
mm-hmm,
cut, put forth, maintain, stop
right, right,
will have much of an effect on us.
right,
We didn't produce the event, or we have never produced the event
right.
underneath a scholarship, a grant, or otherwise.
Correct.
I have been the sole financier of the event, of the series,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll continue to do so until we pull a sponsor. But I'm not sure that much of that will affect us. It will affect the world around us, right? It will affect us personally in personal lives, things of that nature. But the event was always created
Mm-hmm.
for anybody to sort of pull up to. It wasn't, we built that environment a long time ago where come
Mm-hmm.
as you are. You don't have to be dressed to the nines. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to be poor. You don't have to be straight. You don't have to be gay. You don't have to drink.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot drink. Like whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to come catch this fade in Street Fighter 3 or Street Fighter 2 Turbo, pull up. Come get the fade. Grab the controller. It don't matter to me. Um, so like the world right now is going to be in turmoil and chaos, and arguably it is every 4 years, right? This one is going to be a bit more aggressive than ones in the past or ones that we're used to, maybe.
Yep.
But we can't let that stop us. We can't let our actual goals stop us. Discipline is
Mm-hmm.
discipline. If you're going to go do something, do it.
No, for real.
If somebody changes the rules mid-game, you got to adapt. There's no point slapping the board off the table onto the floor because it doesn't help anybody.
No, yeah.
Um, yeah,
Yeah, because like for example, like I did a comedy show last year. Then I did a almost like I did a comedy show for autism awareness. Then I also did on 2023, we had a demonstration by FDNY how to do CPR. We also, talked about with a fellow parent who's also a paraprofessional in the New York City Department of Education, DOE, and she also has an autistic child. So we had like a little workshop. It was free to the public. And then in 22, I had another comedy show. And this year I wanted to do like a listening party, but it would be like a silent party, so everybody would have headphones and they could
okay.
hear music that they want to. But this would be specifically for people on the spectrum because a lot of people on the spectrum, on the autism spectrum, like to hear music, like to have headphones on or earphones and just like block out everybody. So I wanted to create like a space to have everybody have like their own, their own good time, their own type of party. Because people, with sensory sensitivities wouldn't be invited to like, hey, the music's blasting and like my eardrums are bleeding and my head hurts. but I'm having a good time. I'm dancing, right? Yeah.
Sure.
Oh. It's like, yeah, okay. I just want to, sit there in the corner in the fetal position until the music stops playing and everybody gets the hell out. So
I understand.
yeah, so I
Currently
wanted
in
to
the
do
planning
something like that.
stages right now and seeing what can go forward, what can go back. And I also spoke about my plans for Autism Awareness Month. If they're going to come into fruition, we'll see how it goes. We also talked about how the current things, the status quo currently can shouldn't affect us that much, but we have to see how everything plays out. It wasn't everybody's bingo card, pretty much, to use a phrase nowadays. Like it wasn't on my bingo card that stuff like this was gonna go bad. So yeah. Um, so the whole thing with Create, you started it as an alternative. Do you think you'll still
Mhm.
keep going it as an alternative to basically what's out there?
I mean, I guess by default, it will always be what it is.
Right.
I've never sort of been I've never sort of been a trend follower.
Correct.
I just do what makes me happy and I keep it moving from there.
No,
So whether or not it's an alternative, it's a main, it's a side, it's an underground, it's commercial,
mhm,
I don't know. My goal is just to
mhm,
continue making a space where people are happy to hang out, happy to stay, happy to come, and it feels like strangers you just met have been your bestie for the past 10 years. That's really just the goal of it all.
right.
If that means that it's an alternative, then it's an alternative. If
Mm,
that means that it's the main course, then so be it.
yeah. No, but I admire the
Um,
fact that that's how you started it, and that's how it's kind of writing into. Like, you've kept you've gone
you just
against the
ride that
grain.
wave.
That's it. Just ride the wave. That's it. More than that, I don't think you can or should do. So
You got to be
yeah.
cool like the other side of the pillow.
No, so speaking of your wife, when everything happened, because it happened so fast, I was just like, oh my gosh, all these people gathering, like, what's going on? And then I was just like, okay. And then to find out later, because you took pictures, and I was like, damn, I'm not in not one picture. Oh well, I must have left when they started. I was like, oh yeah, I gotta go, time crunch. So yeah. Um, how does she feel about the festival itself?
I mean, she loves it. She loves
Okay,
it.
good.
She loves it to the point where
Mhm.
like holiday games
Oh,
have been put in my lap to figure out like Christmas is mine for me to figure out how to get the families
mhm,
to socialize, play games, interact,
mhm,
because the premise of why I started Create is also how I put together family games, right? I want little kids and the big kids and the teens and the young adults and
right.
the grandmoon, the old heads and all of them to be able to play games together.
Mm.
If not all of them, at least some of them.
Mm.
You know, sometimes the kids they just want to do something. They don't care that they playing the game. So we can involve them. We can take a little break, refill your cups, let them knock them their socks off, and boom, let's get into the next game. And
Yeah.
they'll likely be like, "Listen, they're old people. We're gonna go away anyway. Whatever."